All right, I'd like to take this time to introduce to you all Mr. Jim Muzzey. And Jim is the Assistant Director of Campus Services.
Well, it's nice to see everybody here, and I wanted to say a couple things. First of all, I've had many undeserved blessings in my life, and the first of which, well, the job I have, I'm very thankful for it, but also God gave me one of the best custodial management teams that anybody could ask for, with Ramona Wing and Wesley Holloway and Willie Carter and even Vanessa Johnson. But another blessing I got was Charles came along. We had been using Zing since 2000, and we've been doing very well with it. Well, in talking to Charles, I realized we were only using a part of it. And we had cut back stripping of floors, probably 75%, until Charles came along. Since then, we don't strip floors anymore because we're using the rest of the program. Started in 2000, and we're using it now in 28 buildings on campus. Now we're up to, it would be a cost avoidance and savings of about 3.8 million. We're up to, I'm sure everybody knows, especially in the colleges, we're all in competition with each other. We want the students. Okay, the way we do that, well, first of all, someone drives past your campus, they see your grounds. Okay, then they come into campus. They go in a building. They look at the doormats, they see the entranceways. They come on in there, the floors hit them, bright, shiny, clean-looking floors. And then chances are they go and use the restroom. And everybody's basically the same. Well, they don't want to send their kid to a dump. So we got them, we got them hooked, we got them interested now. We want their students, their son or daughter coming there, and that's how we attract students. And Zing is a big part of that. Because it's all about the money. This whole world is all about the money. That's the truth. One of the other benefits of Zing is we have eliminated stripping. I heard some of the others tell some stories, some horror stories about stripping incidents. Now, I've been in this business for 36 years, and I've stripped floors even back when we used to use the ammoniated stripper. Now, that stuff will give you a good buzz, let me tell you. And we'd have the doors open, fans blowing, and I tell you, I don't care how careful you are, when you're standing on that, it is like ice because that wax is releasing from the floor. And hopefully not everyone has experienced that, but it is rough. I've seen since I've been there, one of our superintendents a few years ago when we were stripping the floor, she fell and hit the back of her head. Really nearly had to go to the hospital. She was in rough shape. She missed some days of work. Okay, it wasn't too long after that, one of our vice presidents came through and we put the wet floor signs out. You better have your wet floor signs out. But she slipped and fell. First, my thought was, well, I was looking for a job when I came here. But fortunately, she was okay, and she understood, but you don't need things like that. You don't need workers' comp claims, and we have not, since we've been on this, we have not had a workers' comp claim due to slipping. 4 years ago, they handed me the dorms and said, here you go. And that was a separate department before, but we merged. And these dorms were in really bad shape. And the first thing we did, we had to strip all those floors in there, and we came and put down the Zing Floor finish, and we've been maintaining them with the Zing Floor Prep ever since then. But there's no way that we'd be able to turn these dorms over in the amount of time that we have. It would be impossible without using these Zing products. It saves so much time on the floors. We did. Ramona came up with a good term, and got to patent this term. But if you've ever heard when Ramona gets tickled about something, you've never heard anybody laugh like that. It's infectious. But she just started cracking up one day, and I said, what's the matter? And she said, we can't have these employees in here mud mopping anymore. That water coming up off of the floors was so bad. They had to keep changing it, but very quickly it was looking like they were mopping with mud. Because think about it, you as a custodian, everybody, it's easy to get lazy, okay? People do not change their mop water enough. So in effect, you're mud mopping. You're mopping with dirty water, you're putting the dirt back down. Well, Floor Prep also has an agent in it that helps the dirt clump and sink to the bottom of the bucket. Plus, there's also a new system we're going on now, which involves a bucketless mop, which is incredible. Used with the Floor Prep, I mean, that's a winner there. But I'm sure Charles can tell you more about that, but we're switching over to that. We're eliminating the mop buckets and the mops, because we're always looking for a better way. You have to. We used to put the floor finish down with regular mops, finish mops, but we're using the flat mops now, which is a tremendous time savings. Okay, some other benefits of Floor Prep. We've kind of gotten a hobby at VSU. We like to go around and find what uses we can find for Floor Prep. And it is an absolute excellent cleaner. Okay, believe it or not, it's one of the best grout cleaners you're ever going to find. And we do all of our bathrooms with that. You let it sit on there and let it do its job, and then you can come in and scrub it and that dirt comes off of that floor. I mean, you just wouldn't believe it. But we also have found a use for CPC. You take a room like this, and some wonderful person comes and drags a cart from that door all the way up to the front, right after you've just done the floor. It's like, you start thinking, why am I even doing this? Why do I even try? Well, you can patch a floor with CPC. It takes a little time, but it's sure a lot less time than having to strip the floor. And we have had to strip a floor because it was scratched down into the tile. I mean, there's no coming back from that. But what we found is, and Charles showed us how to do it, and Ramon has gotten real good at it, the rest of the crew's gotten real good at it. You put the CPC on and you just kind of work the machine back and forth and just work your way down, and it will really blend the finish back together so you can repair a lot of scratches. We have in our university center, I don't know why they put VCT tile in there, but it's a nightmare. And we're always having to do that. Okay, Charles mentioned the dirt leak program. Okay, you need to think of Zing as it's an entire program. Okay, the Zing chemicals are a tool in that program, a very important part, but it is a program. It's the dirt leak program. Like Charles showed all the dirt that came, 67% of your dirt comes in the door. Okay, so it's very important that you have the mats at the door and you turn them 180 degrees. You're stopping the dirt coming in at the door, therefore it's not getting into the rest of your building. It makes perfect sense. There's a couple more things. What's in it for me? Everybody wants to know what's in it for me. That's what it's all about. Okay, well, some things I thought of. There's no slip and fall accidents. There's greatly reduced labor costs. There's more time for the crew to complete other projects since they're not stripping the floors. Stripping floors is a morale buster. Nobody likes to do it. People get hurt, so there's better employee morale. Okay, there's reduced chemical costs because you're not buying as much floor finish or stripper. Probably no stripper and much less floor finish, because why are you want to take up everything that you already got on the floor when you can clean it? But I want to tell you, this is no BS product. It's real. I'm telling you, it's real. You can ask any of my crew. None of us are paid Zing spokesmen. We do this because I do this because I believe in the product and we love Charles. And we're just, willing to help out, but it is real. Okay, I just want to kind of take you on a video tour of some of our floors, tell you a little bit about it, about Valdosta State University. Okay, this is West Hall. Okay, if you look off to the right-hand side of the screen, that's where the president's office would be. This is a marble floor, and we pride ourselves, this is our West Hall dome. And I mean, we've had legislative members, other college presidents, anybody and everybody's allowed to come through here, so we want it looking good. And it's very easy to maintain. So it will work on marble. This does have the finish over it. But it gives it a really deep shine. This is the infamous seal that Mona was talking about. Now, I've been at VSU since '98, and I'm now on my 5th president. Now, every one of those presidents, it says, do not touch that seal. So we hadn't touched the seal. Well, a couple of years ago, the new president, Dr. McKinney, said, you know, that seal's looking kind of dingy out there. I'd like to clean that. And so we wanted to give him what he wanted. So I asked Mona. Mona went up, I put my best person on it. Mona went up there and I said, please try a little tiny space on that. I like working here. And they did, and it just started coming off, and that seal, I mean, it all looked about as dark as the dark parts of it. And it's like, my gosh, that is a brass seal. You can really see it now. Okay, this is our, we have women's soccer, this is our athletic field house, and football, and those are the floors in there. And that takes a lot of abuse with, you know, all the jocks and everything walking through there all the time. This is our weight room. This is in that same building, and that is a rubber floor. And let me tell you, with all those guys in there sweating and making a mess, that floor takes some abuse. And they keep that floor looking brand new with floor prep. You spray it on there, let it sit for a while, and the dirt just comes right up. Okay, this is our Bailey Science Center. This is the atrium, and we have probably 12,000 students, and about every one of them walks through that building every day. So very high use. Okay, this is an annex that was just built onto that. Here's one of the classrooms in that same building. Okay, this is Nevins Hall, another high-use building. It has a lot of science classes in it, math, computer science, things like that. Okay, this is our administrative offices down in the University Center, where we have our HR and places like purchasing. This is another part of the University Center. Consists of 3 parts, and this is the south part, and it's all classrooms and offices down there. That's all VCT. Okay, this is a brick floor. It does have finish over it, but it looks beautiful, and it's easy to maintain. So I put these in here to show you. I mean, you can pretty much use it on any type of floor with the finish on it and without finish on it, and I have some of that too. Okay, this is a kind of like a clay tile in the Fine Arts Center, and that building actually needs a facelift. That's a big draw. They have the theaters in there and everything, and some big wheels come there too. But we're able to keep the floors looking real nice. So it keeps the administration off of us. There's the art gallery. It's right beside that last picture. There's our police station. See all of our interrogation rooms. No, I'm just kidding. Those are this is the internet cafe. This is one time when school was shut down. That's a 24-hour operation in there, so it's hard for them to maintain that floor. So we want something that will last. Tried to show this bathroom. We don't have weekend custodial service because of the budget. You ought to see this bathroom on Monday morning when you go in there. I mean, everybody and his brother uses that bathroom. So it's hard to maintain, but what they do is they go in there and they scrub that floor with floor prep, and it just brings that grout just back to looking new. But the key is you gotta give the chemical time to work. Let it sit, you know, a couple minutes, and it will literally bubble the dirt out of it to where it make it much easier to scrub it. So it's the best grout cleaner I've ever seen. Okay, this is the main entrance to the library. That floor was being maintained with regular chemicals, and it was getting kind of bad. Well, Ramona took her crew in there and they scrubbed it all with floor prep. Looked brand new, and that's what they're using it with from now, using it in there from now on. Like I said, we're constantly looking for new uses for it. Okay, here's one of the dorms. Kind of a plain looking hallway, but we keep the floors looking shiny. And there's their lobby. This is our plant operations building, and I've seen forklifts and everything going down this hallway. And all the workers are going in and out, you know, with muddy shoes and all, and the floor holds up. Now this is our famous rubber floor track that Mona was talking about. We tried everything on that rubber floor. The dirt was embedded down into the rubber. We couldn't get it out. And we were talking to Charles one day, and he says, why don't you try floor prep on that? So, but just put it on there and let it sit. And we came up with our own system with the trash can. That way we can pour water on it and let it sit for a while, let it do its job. But I said, let it sit for a while and then see what happens. Okay? Well, that was them putting it down before we had the garbage can system. Okay, and then we're using an auto scrubber on it.
Good night.
Okay, and then he came along and he did rinse it afterwards. That's how it came out. Okay, this floor has just recently been replaced. This is back the old floor that we had at the PE complex. You know, there's basketball, volleyball, all kinds of concerts and activities going on in there, so that building's constantly in use. Graduations, building needs to be about twice the size that it is. But anyway, that floor was hard to maintain until we started using floor prep on it. I just want to tell you, it is the real deal, and my email is jmuzzey, M-U-Z-Z-E-Y, at valdosta.edu if you want any questions for me. But this is no joke, it's just the real deal. Thank you.